Who the F is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning? Still no.
Still no.
All right. Once again, fuck it. Welcome back to the Next Man Up Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby G. Here with my brother from another mother, Shaka.
How y'all doing?
All right, bringing you episode, where we at to? Number 4.
Episode number 4.
Episode number 4. Thank you to everybody who's watched previous episodes. We appreciate your continued support.
Welcome back.
And we will continue to try and deliver you what you want to hear. This episode, we're going to get into our playoff picks, division winners, the teams that we think will be successful this season.
It's the happiest time of the year.
And we will not discuss teams who will not be successful. Denver Broncos.
Wow. I'm still smiling. It's the happiest time of the year. There's nothing you can say that's going to get me down right now. It's the best time of the year. We got 3 days till just straight football.
There you go.
And let's go.
2 wake-ups.
I've been waiting for so long.
And we'll also, speaking of start, we'll preview Chiefs, but not Chiefs. So that's because I want them to do really well. But we'll preview Buccaneers, Cowboys. I was going to say Chiefs, Buccaneers. Yeah.
Thursday night football, TNF.
Right.
Still wondering if it's worth it.
Yeah.
We can ask that question first because me and you had some conversations about that. Do you think that we should still have, because a lot of NFL players hate it. Do you think we should have a Thursday night football game?
I think we should.
Why?
Because one, they don't hate that 10-day break that they get in between. I haven't heard anybody complain about that yet. And again, it's another revenue stream for the NFL, which is how you get paid. So to take from it to like biting the hand that feeds you, like you can't get pissed about something that puts money in your pockets and helps you support your family. So
even if it puts you at like a higher injury risk?
Stepping on the field in general puts you in a higher injury risk. So
Touche.
once you decide I want to be a football player, it's like saying I want to be a boxer. Like you're gonna get hit in the head, bro.
Right.
You know, Floyd Mayweather's greatest defensive fighter to ever live still gets hit in the head sometimes. So, like, yeah, you can't have one without the other. So,
well, seeing inside the Thursday night football game that you think is useful is going to be the banner ceremony for the Bucs and the Cowboys, 2 NFC teams. What do you think that represents? Let's get into your playoff picks, man. Let's start with the NFC.
NFC, all right. And since the Cowboys are playing, go ahead and start with the NFC East, or NFC least, as most people call it.
Myself included. That's a dumpster fire of a division.
Yeah, they've had a bad few years since the Eagles won the Super Bowl as a whole, not just the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But, for the NFC East, ironically, I see the Cowboys taking the division. I see them taking the division and getting one of the playoff spots.
Okay.
They defensively, they had their issues last year, which is why Dak Prescott got off to an amazing start. It's easy to pass for 400 yards a game when you're down 30-0 at halftime.
Right.
However, they were able to draft Michael Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. He's probably the best overall defensive player in the draft. You can debate that between him and your guy, Patrick Surtain, second.
There's no debate. It's PS2. There's no debate. There's no debate.
It was debate.
There's not going to be a debate.
Linebackers have a greater overall effect in the game. So, but they're bringing back offensive line. Even though Zach Martin will not play.
Yeah.
He's in COVID protocol. But obviously,
which is a major loss.
For week 1, but he'll be back week 2. So overall for the season, I have to go with the team that I feel will get the best quarterback play. Quarterback play being so huge in the league if you don't have everything else around it. And I can't put my faith in Fitzmagic for an entire season. Can't do it with Danny Dimes for an entire season. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. He's still on the show me what you got stage. So, like, just on quarterback play alone, I have to go with the Cowboys.
Okay. So that's your NFC East team.
NFC East champion.
I was hoping that you'd go just like 1 through 7, like because that's
all the way down.
That's how I have mine done.
All right.
So now I'm feeling some kind of way about it.
All right.
So yeah, I was just wanting to know just like who you think is going to be the number 1 overall seed all the way down to 7. Obviously, you got to list them by division for the first 4. But
number 1 seed.
I know if you got the Cowboys winning the division, that's number 4. So they're not going to be higher seeded than that.
They could be a good surprise. But,
okay, well, let me not assume your list. Let me not assume.
They are my 4 seed.
Okay. So let's go through. What's your 1 through 7, excluding number 4 now?
All right. Number 1, I actually have Tampa Bay. Their schedule is way too easy. I know. I can't remember who was slated to technically have the easiest schedule, but
The Denver Broncos.
Yeah, but no, looking at the team and the schedule, it's insane. Because they did not win the division last year, they get to play a second-place schedule. So you avoid going to Green Bay. You avoid going against Washington football team's defense. You avoid potentially going to Seattle. Like, the toughest game on their schedule is the Rams. And coin flip on who wins that. Like, other than that, their division isn't the greatest. It's probably second worst behind the NFC East. So they'll dominate that. They'll go with a minimum 5-1 in division.
They better go 6-0. They had better go 6-0.
Right. But it's just division games can be tricky. So minimum they go 5-1 in division. They're definitely. I think they'll go at worst 14-3 overall. At worst.
So you're not thinking that the Bucs are going undefeated like everybody else wants to call
No,
it?
it would not surprise me though. They absolutely can.
But you don't think that they will?
I don't think they will.
Okay.
No. I think
Number 2.
Super Bowl hangover catches up with them late in the season.
Yeah. Number 2.
2 seed, I should have to go to Green Bay Packers. Again, they got that bad man.
Bad man.
Our camera person appreciates that.
Somebody got to make some of the Packers fans happy out there.
Yeah, I mean they have one of the toughest home field advantages. Again, their defense definitely showed improvements last year. Aaron Rodgers absolutely showed improvements last year in year 2 of LaFleur's system. So there's no telling what he'll do in year 3. The 2 receivers, Valdez-Scantling and Lazard, again, they're growing in the system, so they'll be better. Devontae's going to Devontae.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones is going to Aaron Jones, and Aaron Rodgers is going to Aaron Rodgers. So I see them finishing second in the conference and gripping that number 2 seed.
Number 3.
Seattle Seahawks.
Of course.
I see them taking the West. They're kind of, I put them in the Peyton Manning class.
That surprises me, especially considering that you, if memory serves me, had the Rams ranked higher on your power rankings.
I think the Rams go deeper in the playoffs, and we'll get into that at the end. But the Seahawks are like, as a team, I put them in the Peyton Manning class, which most people call Peyton Manning the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. And that's kind of what Seattle, well, they're going to win 10-plus games. They're going to compete for the division, and they usually squeak it out at the end and end up pulling that division out by a game or 2. So I'm going with that again. Even though I think another team in their division will go further in the playoffs, I still think Seattle wins the division in the regular season.
Okay, so that's up to number 3. Number 4 is the Cowboys.
4 is the Cowboys.
Number 5.
Wildcard teams.
Number 1 wildcard team.
Number 1 wildcard team going in that division, the LA Rams.
Okay.
I think they battle throughout the season. Right.
Okay.
With Seattle for the division. It'll probably come down to the last week of the season. But I think the Seahawks edge them out, and that puts them in that first wild card. Again, I think actually once they get to the playoffs, they'll make more noise than Seattle. But they're locked to get in to me.
Okay.
Leaving me with 6.
Number 6.
Kind of surprised. I'm actually going with the Minnesota Vikings. Going with the Vikings to make the playoffs.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
Let's hear your reasons as to why you think the Minnesota Vikings will make the playoffs.
Again, it's said in power rankings, if I were to tell you or ask you, just kind of give me a team that can compete. Not necessarily a championship team, but give me a group of players I could play with and go just compete. It'd be the Minnesota Vikings. You get decent quarterback play. You have an amazing running back. You got a very solid number 1 receiver. Got probably the best number 2 receiver in the NFL, Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Their defense is not bad. They're literally average across the board. And this season, the NFC is kind of down.
Yeah.
Obviously, the NFC East is what it is. So
trash.
You have no competition from there. The NFC South is not that good. So who are you really competing with? You're competing with the Rams, the 49ers, Cardinals, potentially. The Bears, potentially. So you're competing with 4 teams, essentially, for 2 playoff spots. I think the Vikings can win that race. I think they'll get just enough out of Kirk Cousins. I think Justin Jefferson, I don't think he'll have a sophomore slump per se. I don't think he'll put up the numbers he did last year, but he'll be solid. Thielen's going to be solid. If Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, he's going to Dalvin Cook. If their defense can keep people between...
What about that offensive line, though? Because that was where I had some issues with them, where they've had issues in the past, that offensive line.
Yeah, but this one's with
like Cousins has gotten sacked more since he's been in Minnesota than his entire time anywhere else, and that's crazy because he played on a garbage Washington football team for years.
But that was their thing. That's literally all they had at that time.
Yeah. So that's my only question mark about the Vikings. But that's a strong case.
Their pass protection struggles happen when Dalvin Cook isn't healthy. Because when they can run the ball, remember their style of play is actually, we kind of jacked that, the Cleveland Browns. So if Cook is healthy, unfortunately they don't have a Kareem Hunt as a number 2. They got Dalvin Cook and that's it. So if he stays healthy, then defenses can't focus in on just, we're going to get Kirk Cousins. Their play action will get better. And obviously he's a threat out of the backfield to catch the ball.
Right.
So if he's healthy, that offensive line can hold people at bay.
See,
if he's not healthy, that's when they're in trouble.
These are parts of the list that I like. Even during the regular season, I love the playoff chase. I'm not as big on the teams that we know are going to make it. Not like I'm ever dismissing them, but it's just like, we know what the Chiefs are going to do, et cetera. Like, okay, if you're not in the playoffs, that's more of a shocking headline than anything else. I love these parts of the list because this is where it's like, these are the teams to watch. These are the teams where a game could be the difference.
Out for the Minnesota Vikings.
Especially this next pick, number 7. Who's the final team that you have sneaking into that NFC?
I'm going to throw a lot of people up, and I will put an asterisk. Health is that they need to stay as healthy as possible.
Okay.
Carolina Panthers.
Oh, I
see the Carolina Panthers getting the 7th seed.
I bet you were going to say something else. Like Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
I don't think anybody's talking about the Panthers making the playoffs.
I'm telling you.
I need to know how you have the Carolina Panthers making the playoffs. What have you seen because that definitely didn't creep anywhere into mind.
Panthers fans, get ready for not terrible season. A little bit of joy. They got Sam Darnold, so they're good at QB. And I say that not saying he's elite or good. He's definitely in a prove-it year. He has the most talented offense he's ever had. He looked very good in the preseason. His first game, he's coming out slinging. So that first game is New York. The Jets, Jets.
That's my sleeper team.
I'm telling you now, he's going to mop the floor with Zach Wilson. He's coming in. He's going for at least 300 plus and 3 touchdowns. And you know who he's got to back him up? CMC. Christian McCaffrey, for those that didn't know. Christian McCaffrey's coming out with something to prove in that first game.
That he's not going to get hurt? Is that what he's going to prove?
He's not going to get hurt.
But
I think
that's all that anybody. He doesn't need to prove anything. Like, for God's sake, the dude is still rated 99 in Madden, and he's coming off an injury.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen that in my
savage.
Like,
but again,
so he doesn't need to
how
prove
guys
shit
are,
except for that he can be healthy.
But you know how guys are when they have a teammate who's going up against a former team. They all rally behind it. So, and Sam Darnold's not the only person. Robbie Anderson, wide receiver, former Jet, or they coming to show out week 1. If they don't do anything else. And I think that somebody has to benefit from bad football. What I mean by that, they're not in the NFC East, but guess what? They play the New Orleans Saints. They also play the Atlanta Falcons. They can get 4 wins. 4 wins out of those games. Tampa Bay, they're going to drop on them. Remember when I said Tampa Bay may go, at worst, 5-1? The Panthers can still win from them. Panthers can steal one from them.
I'm just trying
especially if it's late in the season and Tampa's not playing for anything.
I took some notes on the Panthers, man. So I got to cross-reference my notes real quick. Forgive me. Just because you haven't sold me yet. You haven't sold me yet on how you have the Carolina Panthers in there.
Again, look who you're competing with. You're competing with them in a bad division. You're competing with, because the Rams are going to get in. You're competing with the Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, who are in a tougher division.
Right.
They could potentially have 4 losses coming from the other 2 teams in their division, plus 1 loss to each other. Whereas Carolina's not dealing with that. They have 2 terrible teams at the bottom.
But Carolina also has a bad defense. Like that's what I'm looking for. Is like how their defense again is not like last year. They finished towards the bottom, like towards the bottom.
You can't count that. Their main weapon, Christian McCaffrey, was gone, and they got back quarterback play.
True. Okay.
So you upgrade the quarterback position, and again, remember I said my asterisk for this team is health. If they stay healthy, they're a very competitive team.
You're lucky. Because I don't want to be on here. I mean, I know on the podcast I'm still talking, but I know on YouTube I don't want me just scrolling through my. You're lucky I can't find it because I can't have the Panthers up there. But I mean, I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. If they get. They'll be one of those teams if they sneak. I think they'd have to sneak out. Like,
CMC
they'd have to get like 3. In my opinion, they'd have to win at least 3 games they should not have won to be in the conversation for the playoffs.
That's fair.
Like,
but look who they play.
I'm not talking close games. I'm not talking, games against bad teams. I'm talking like they need like 3 legit upsets.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Do they though? Look at it this way. They could lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice. And really still not affect what they do because all they have to do is beat a team like Chicago, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. We won't even count their NFC East opponents. Again, you're competing with the Vikings, the Bears, 49ers, Cardinals, who are in divisions where they're guaranteed L's. The Bears are going to lose to the Packers. The Vikings are going to lose to the Packers. The 49ers and Cardinals are going to lose to the Rams and the Seahawks. So, like, they're getting bullied by each other. And you got Tampa Bay, but you have 4, pretty much, they can come out 3-1 against the Falcons and the Saints. Because Jameis Winston's going to turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. So, I'm completely dismissed. And if he does that, he's going to get pulled for Taysom Hill. And we saw how slowed down. Granted, they won games while Drew Brees was out. But you saw the offense just didn't quite look
right.
And you ain't got Mike Thomas. So you ain't got to worry about can't guard Mike. That's going to put a lot of pressure on that defense. Like, defense is going to be on the field a lot. The reason their defense was able to be successful is because Drew Brees kept those guys off the field by putting together long drives and quick strikes when necessary. So, I'm telling you, the Panthers, they are prime. They're a talented young team. They got a young coach who's now finding his way in the NFL, who has a quarterback he actually wants because they went out and traded for him. Mm-hmm. Telling you, keep an eye on him. If CMC stays healthy, he's gonna give you 1,300 and 900 at least out of the backfield. Then DJ Moore, he's gonna give you about 1,300 yards, 8-9 touchdowns.
I mean, it's a compelling argument. I mean, it's very optimistic. It's very hopeful.
Sam Darnold's he may hit 4K.
There's so many variables on that team that it's like them making the play. I mean, yeah, I can see your points about their strength of schedule could offer them opportunities to pick up some games, and they are in a depleted division, and that they only have to, even if they lost both games to the Bucs, if they win the other
still
4,
come out 4-2 in the division.
But the thing is, I don't know if they can. I do not have any trust in Sam Darnold yet. I don't trust Christian McCaffrey to stay healthy. That defense, I don't trust a mid-level to low-tier defense with a bunch of moving parts on offense that are still going to be having to get used to each other and trying to figure out their playbook and their schemes. Because as much as the head coach is in the second year, a lot of those players are in their first.
Oh, fair.
So I'm looking at that, and for me, I think it's a stretch. It's a stretch, but as I said, if they can win like 3 games that they have no business winning, then yeah, they could be in the hunt.
I guarantee they can.
They can be in the hunt.
Again, I would say take a look at and we'll even just drop it from team. We'll go specific. They're going with Sam Darnold. That's their guy. Mm-hmm. If he can live up to an expectation for the season, I'm not talking about like his draft expectation. If he can live up to an expectation of basically improving because of the talent around him, you got Sam Darnold or Andy Dalton. You got Sam Darnold or Jalen Hurts. You got Sam Darnold or
Jalen Hurts.
The Jimmy G Trey Lance combo.
Both.
You got Sam Darnold or Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, but really, what have he done? Nothing.
So I'm looking. What has Sam Darnold done? Nothing.
Exactly, which makes it a level playing field.
I mean, I don't see.
But the thing is I know Sam Darnold's going to start week 1. I know Sam Darnold's going to start week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. Is Andy Dalton going to do that? We don't know. Because you got Justin Fields waiting in the wings. Is Jimmy G going to do that? We don't know. Because you got another guy waiting in the wings. Can Cliff Kingsbury coach? I have no faith that Kyler Murray can't play. Kyler Murray can play. Can Cliff Kingsbury, is he finally adjusted to the NFL game? We don't know. Is J.J. Watt going to stay healthy? We don't know.
But again, for
this
me,
is what the Panthers are going against.
For me, I'm looking at a lot of those teams, and I don't have a lot of those teams in the playoffs.
Exactly.
To where it's like, yeah, if they have some of those on their schedule, I don't have it up in front of me right now. If they have a few of those teams on their schedule, it's like, okay, cool. You might be able to get some wins, but those teams are the same thing. They have the question marks. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about the playoffs, we got to talk about teams. At least for me, I'm like, they can't have that many asterisks, man. Our lists are slightly different, slightly to drastically. I'll just go with that. And number one,
kick it off.
Number one for me is the same as you. It's the Bucks. I feel like that goes without saying. I don't see them going 17-0. I see them going 16-1.
Losing to the Rams.
I see them just like sitting everybody week 17. Give them 2 weeks off before they go on another Super Bowl run. So I got the Bucks as a clear-cut number one. There's nothing really else that needs to be said about them that hasn't already been said. Again, they have a very easy strength of schedule. They have the GOAT, all 22 guys back, everybody back from coach and staff. That's just a recipe for success.
Okay.
Number two, I have actually the LA Rams.
Wow.
That's who I would have as my number 2 seed. I think that they'll not only win the NFC West, but I think that they'll be the number 2 overall seed in the NFC.
Okay.
The more and more I've been like chewing on it, man, I'm still not 100% sold on Matthew Stafford, but that defense.
Yeah.
And
even though they lost 40% of the starting secondary?
Yeah, like just that defense is still going to be really, really good. I don't think that there will be the best defense in the NFL. I think that they do drop a couple places, and I have other teams that I think will replace them.
Where do you think their issues occur in the run defense or pass defense?
I just think there's just the losses that they picked up. You know, like again, I think that they went out and got good replacements, which we went over in the power rankings. So I think that they fixed those gaps. Okay. To where I'm like, again, just wanting to see how they mesh is why I'm like, yeah, I think that they'd be the number 2 team. It was hard to take them over the Seahawks. The Seahawks, as we always talk about, like every year they just seem shot out of a cannon. They come out of the gate really, really well. You know, Russell Wilson's in the MVP talks. Pete Carroll's in the Coach of the Year talks.
Not had a 10-win season since he's been a quarterback.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And so it's like they always come out of the gate really well, and then it's like, and then you just see the chinks in the armor, and they break down towards the last stretch of the season. I don't think the Rams will do that this year. Okay. So I think that they take it, and I think whoever comes out of the NFC West will be the number 2 seed, period. Because, again, you got to look, the NFC South is going to be number 1 with the Bucks. Right. You know, the only other team that could take the number 2 spot will be the NFC North with my number 3 team, the Green Bay Packers. I know you had them at 2. I got them at 3. And again, it's just because of that. It's because I think the NFC, as much as the NFC North is an easier division, and I could easily see Aaron Rodgers going 14-3, 15-2, just because of him, and you know, maybe he's on some vendetta shit, and he's like, yo, fuck you guys on the way out. Like, whenever you break up with somebody and you have like that final time of having sex, you're like, well, I'm gonna show you. You won't remember me. Like, maybe that's what. I think that's why you have so much confidence in Aaron Rodgers. I think that you think he's doing that, and
he's Aaron Rodgers, man. He's a bad.
I mean, yeah, you go on TV and roast your team for 30 minutes, like, and then just show up to practice the next day, like, yo, what up? Yeah. And none of them said. I mean, yeah. So the Packers, they're gonna be a bad team. They're gonna be a great team. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they went 14-3, 15-2. But again, I can see the Rams going 14-3. Yeah. So it's like, it's that toss-up. I just think
3 losses for the Rams.
Yeah, I do. Again, and looking at their schedule, that's my asterisk. That's my huge asterisk team. It's like, if I can get to believing in Matthew Stafford, and if he actually is a good quarterback, He just needed talent around him.
Right.
Then the Rams are a dangerous team.
Right. That was my thing. Is I don't not believe in Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
My question is more just like you're on the defense.
Yeah.
You lose 40% of your starting secondary. That's in today's NFL. That's huge. So Aaron Donald's going to be him. I think Stafford again. He essentially has to be a game manager.
Yeah.
Even though he can play at a level above, like it's literally all they ask him to do. Just don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
But going on.
Rounding out the top 4 begrudgingly because apparently they won't change the rules in the NFL to get rid of this, that just because you win your division, you should be in the playoffs. Because it allows some garbage team from the worst division in football, the NFC East, to be in the playoffs every year. And this year, I think, by the hair on their chin or whatever, it'll be the Washington football team that'll suck it up just enough. They'll not be garbage for just long enough to get because the rest of those teams are going to suck. I hate that I can almost guarantee the Washington football team is going to finish with 8 wins and be in the playoffs. And that pisses me off. That you're going to be a sub 500 team in the playoffs.
No faith in the Cowboys.
I have no faith in any team in the NFC East. I would legitimately think that like Alabama could probably smack the Cowboys. Like, come on. And I'm not saying that in any kind of way. It's just how I feel. I can't stand any team in the NFC East.
Right.
I'm not trying to shit on the Eagles either because I know that their fans are lunatics. But I'm in Vegas, bro. Come at me like y'all are nuts, but you suck. Jalen Hurts is gonna have a good rookie season. I think that'll be or sophomore season. I think that'll be good. I was more thinking like full season as a starter.
Right.
I think that'll be fun to watch. But again, they're gonna win maybe 5 games, maybe 6. The New York Giants. I mean, Daniel Jones gets tripped by Casper the Ghost, and y'all want me to have confidence in the New York Giants? I mean, for all of his many mistakes, Eli Manning never did that.
What about Saquon?
Can he stay healthy? Like, yeah, if he stays healthy, he's the baddest back in the league. Problem is, he can't stay healthy, and it's not his fault. It's that offensive line sucks. So it's another team that might win 6 games, and I hate even saying that, but they have to play each other. And then Washington football, and somebody has to win, even though they probably suck enough to get draws. The Cowboys, again, on paper, even in my power rankings, I had them at, I think, like 12. Mm-hmm. And I hate that. Like, it makes my skin crawl. Because, again, I know they're not going to be good. They're like the trick. It's every single time, every single season, it's like, oh, they're going to be good, they're going to be good, they're going to be good. And then, like, halfway through the season, they just suck. And they're just losing in, like, amazing ways. It's not even, like, remember the Tony Romo effect we talk about. It wasn't that he never once led the NFL in interceptions.
Right.
Has probably one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in history. But he'd throw 5 touchdown passes against the Broncos, greatest game of his career, throws 1 interception. When was it? On the goal line at the end of the game. That's when you chose to throw your pick. I feel like that's the Cowboys. Every single season, everybody wants to be like, yo, they're going to be good.
Right.
This should be like, they're always a Super Bowl favorite some fucking how. And it's like, and then the season goes and it's just like they fall apart, whether it's bad coaching or injuries or players just not like suddenly forgetting how to play. Like last year, what was with Zeke suddenly forgetting how to hold on to the ball.
Last year ago, that he did have a little bit of fumbleitis, but I go some more with the Dak. The Dak injury was the biggest. Yeah, if you lose your quarterback, and they had 0 backup. I mean, you had Andy Dalton, but that was not a situation to throw him in.
So for me, it's not even. I picked the Washington football team, not even because of Fitzmagic. It's because they're going to have a top 3 defense. Like their defense is stacked.
Defensive line is bad.
So they're going to manhandle a lot of teams. They're going to be a problem in the playoffs because as we talked about with the power rankings with the Rams, I see the same thing with them. Like you're not going to want to see the Redskins. Excuse me. Damn. I mean, that's not my fault. It's their fault because they want to take 2 years to think of a new name. But that's also on me because it's been 2 years. So I mean, my bad. Washington football team. It's their defense. I'm gonna get off of that because I can't even think. I can't think.
So you got a wild card time.
Yeah, my favorite part. I have the Seahawks because again, it's like I have the Rams barely edging out the Seahawks for the NFC West crown, and I think that whichever team wins the NFC West will be the number 2. So obviously the team that comes in second, I think, will be the Seahawks.
Right.
Again, I think that they'll get to that 10-win plateau, but then I think that they'll sputter out and they'll end up finishing out like 12-5, maybe 13-4. You know, if certain things go right. But again, I have a big gap between them and the next teams where like they have more wiggle room.
Okay.
Being whether it's the Rams or the Seahawks, I think that the number 5 spot in the NFC is going to have like a gap, like of a couple games.
Right between.
Yeah, like they could finish 12-5 and be like a game ahead of who I have at like 6.
Okay.
And who I have at 6 is, as you did, the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
Where literally you took all the words out of my mouth. It was like every single reason was like, yep. That's why I was just sitting here just smiling at you, just like, I was mad. I'm like, did he read my notes? This motherfucker read my notes. Because he talking like me right now. So, no, I got the Vikings for all the same reasons. And my toss-up was actually between the Cowboys or the Niners, not the Panthers, for the number 7 spot.
Okay.
The Cowboys, because again, it's like you should win your division. You should represent the NFC East. Yeah. Will you, though?
Okay.
Probably not.
Question then.
Go ahead.
Because you said you haven't watched the football team win the division. You're thinking that 8 wins gets them there. Mm-hmm. So you're thinking that the Cowboys and the Niners are battling for the 7th wild card spot with less than 8 wins?
Yep.
Wow.
The NFC
That's crazy.
I think the NFC is terrible. I mean, that's
so
why.
Basically, you think 2 sub-500 teams get into the playoffs?
Yes, unfortunately. Which is what I'm saying. Is like I don't like that. But yeah, I think the two of them will. And it'll be, I want to say, excuse me, I want to say the Niners because, yeah, they're my asterisk team if they can stay healthy.
Right.
I think that they'll be one of the most dangerous teams in the league, so I'm gonna put them at 7. And again, it's just a stretch. I don't think that any of those teams, or not any of those teams, I don't think that those final 3 teams, the Vikings, Cowboys, or Niners, even if they did make the playoffs, would do anything in it. Mm-hmm. I just think that they, again, same thing with the Vikings, they're maybe the ones that could upset some people just because, you know, they have weapons in good places, and if they can figure out how to use them right, the Vikings could be a problem.
Okay. And before we switch over to the AFC question, we'll just throw this on at the end. Aside from our picks, 2 teams to look out for in the NFC. Whether they're on your list or not. Just 2 things you think can like spoil people's party.
Oh. Okay. I definitely say the Chicago Bears first.
All right.
I really, you know, I remember you telling me the same thing about Trevor Lawrence. First time you saw him throw, you were like, this kid's going to be a number 1 pick.
Right.
I remember I was watching the championship game with Justin Fields in it, and I said the same thing to you. I'm like, I loved his throwing motion.
Right.
I'm like, this kid he's putting these things on ropes like these are darts. Like, oh my God. I hope they turn it over to him week 2. I know they're probably gonna go Andy Dalton week 1 because they're idiots. I don't know why people keep giving that dude, you know, whatever. They're gonna probably go with him week 1. He's gonna suck like he does, and then they're gonna turn it over to Justin Fields. So they could be a team again that could be really fun to watch. That could upset teams. But as we talked about in our power rankings, why I can't be more excited on them is that they're my most like average team. Right. Like, but that mediocrity is where they could sneak some games on some people. Yeah. Or upset some people that take them for granted or don't take them seriously. And it's like, okay, well, what's up? The other team I would watch, I'm gonna instantly regret this. The other team that I would watch is not for good reasons. I'd watch the New Orleans Saints. Because that team is going to be terrible. And I'm actually really, really curious from a football standpoint of how they approach their rebuild.
Right.
Because I want to see how, like, what team they feel this year, how they're like, what their systems are going to be. Because I think they're going to be trying a lot of things out.
Yeah.
Trying to see what direction they can go in the future.
Right.
So the Saints would be a team to watch, not because they're going to win games. I don't think that they'll win more than 4, if that. I think they're going to be very bad.
7 wins.
I can't. But yeah, I would definitely watch. I'd watch the Saints just to see, like, if you're a fan, as we are, of like draft and trade and off season. The Saints are going to be probably putting a lot of things in motion throughout this season to try to get ready for what's going to be a very busy offseason for them next year.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna give you the New York Giants. One, because of what you said, if Saquon Barkley can stay healthy, if he plays the whole season, that's kind of a team you really don't want to run into on certain weeks. Their defense has improved. Their issues were obviously on the offensive line. The healthy Saquon actually helps them because he can come out of the backfield on you. He can run it up the middle. He can outside.
Yeah,
he can return kicks. Like, Saquon's a football player.
Yeah.
The other thing, his presence can help Danny Jones. You got Evan Ingram at tight end. Like, they have players in positions. You get Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney. Like, they have talent. They just can't be on the field all at the same time. But if that happens, you might not want to see the Giants in, like, November, December. Even if they're out of it, they can still prevent you from being in it.
Yeah.
So it'd be a dangerous time for the Cowboys, the football team. Another team, I'm going to say the Arizona Cardinals, because you have no clue what they could be.
Right, like, what's Kyler Murray going to do with DeAndre Hopkins? Is J.J. Watt going to be healthy?
The only thing I know about the Cardinals is DeAndre Hopkins is going to catch over 100 passes. Outside of that,
he'll catch over 100 passes easy because he's going to get targeted like 250 times.
Exactly.
Kyler Murray probably going to exclusively be trying to throw him the ball.
Exactly. But again, going with a reference for the play, like, can J.J. Watt stay healthy? Because if he can, then that defense is different. Can Buda Baker not get chased down by wide receivers? On guarantees pick sixes?
Jason Voorhees, man. He was getting chased down by a predator.
Can Kyler Murray take that next step into being potentially an elite QB? Can Cliff Kingsbury figure out play calling?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are, but again, I really wouldn't want to see Arizona late in the season, and I need a win to get into the playoffs, because if they put it together, they can put it together for a day, and if they do, it could cost you your season.
I don't know. So let's move on to the conference that we know everybody's here to actually hear about, the conference that's going to win the Super Bowl this year. And that's a guarantee. And I'm hating to say that because I know, I got love for my guy Tom Brady. You know that. He's the GOAT. I think it would be amazing if he went back to back just to keep pissing people off. Like, I got 8 rings now and I went back to back. And it's like, that would be funny. But I don't see it happening this year. I think it's the year of the AFC. And so I'm curious to know who you have kicking off the top of your list. Because, again, it's my opinion. It's not his opinion. But my opinion is the AFC will be crowned champions of the NFL.
Okay.
I'm just curious to see who you have on your side as the number 1 pick for that job. Who's going to take it home for us? Who's not going to let us down? Who's the best option?
Going into the playoffs, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to finish as number 1 seed. Like,
that, sir, we obviously have to agree upon.
I think Earth agrees on that. So
Patrick Mahomes throws passes while doing backflips, somersaults, and being held by 17 different people.
Yeah, like
he'll hit you like dead in the numbers.
I mean, they have everything. Of course, they have their issues on defense, but obviously their offense more than makes up for that.
Would you agree with the statement I'm about to make that Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of football?
You could probably make that cross comparison. Yeah.
Okay.
He's
completely revolutionizing the game, but doing things that like nobody else can do.
Right, and it's with the arm, not so much with the legs.
Yeah,
so that's what makes it more impressive.
Yeah. Same thing with Curry. So
right.
I was just curious. I had a quick shout out to my man Steph Curry.
That's a fair cross comparison. But they have everything. I mean, you got the experience. Good. Well, first of all, they won a championship, so they have championship experience. You got championship level coach, quarterback. All of your captains are like they're the it team.
Yeah.
So they're the Duke of the NFL.
All right. So since we're in consensus on the Chiefs, I could get onto them too. I know when we're talking about the power rankings, I didn't have them ranked as my third ranked team, but that doesn't mean that anything that they would come out of the AFC.
Right.
I think that the Browns will be the best team in the AFC. But again,
record wise, or no, just in
team wise.
Okay.
I think the Browns will be the best team in the AFC, but I think the Chiefs will still finish with the better record because they have a slightly easier schedule than the Browns do, and again, they have Patrick Mahomes. So it's
That's true.
If they need that one extra game to get that bye week, it's no knock to your Browns, but I'm taking Patrick Mahomes over Baker Mayfield to get me that one extra game.
I'd take Patrick Mahomes over Baker Mayfield. And yes, I'm a loyal Cleveland Browns fan, but you're an idiot not to.
Yeah. Right. So that's your number one team. So let's see who you got coming in number two. Because I was offended by your power ranking, so I'm probably going to be offended by this list too. So at least we agreed on number one.
Second seed, I'm actually going with Cleveland Browns.
Oh, we agreed for two today. People, he was reading my notes. It's official.
No.
It's official. He was reading my notes.
Things have transpired.
Remember that shit in class so you don't get plagiarized? Just move a couple words around. That's all this motherfucker did. He just moved. He just messed with a couple parts of the list. He read my notes, man.
No, things have transpired since power rankings. J.K. Dobbins is starting running back out for the season. Mm. That's a huge hit to a team who runs the ball
for the Ravens.
First. Right.
Yeah.
It's a huge hit. Puts more pressure on Lamar Jackson.
I was dying when I saw some of those memes, and it was like the Thanos memes. And it was like your 18th regular preseason opener win in a row. Right. What did it cost? And it was like everything, little one. Why would you do that?
I think that
Dobbins.
I think that's
a massive hit.
Right.
That made me adjust my list.
Receivers were dinged up, and with the improvements we made to our secondary and how I saw guys moving in the preseason, I was definitely impressed that we will have a defense, a legit defense. I know a lot of people like to say the Browns had a good dude. No, we really did. We really did. It was a magic curtain being waved. It was yeah. But now we actually have a legit defense. I think that gives us an edge. Not saying we're going to run away with the division. I think we'll win it by a game or two. So,
but I think now you guys run away with it. I mean, and when I say run away with, I guess that's where we're saying the same thing. Is I'm thinking 2 games is running away.
Okay.
Like I think with the injury to J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens, I think that drastically hurt them. Yeah. Like that for me, that bumped them numerous spots.
Yeah,
on my
if your
list.
primary thing is to run the football and you lose a running back.
Yeah. I still think that the Ravens make the playoffs, and I'll say where, but they definitely slipped out from. I didn't ever have them above the Ravens. I mean, above the Browns.
Okay.
I've always had the Browns as my number 2 team in the AFC because again, when we talked about in the power rankings, I think that as I was saying, I think the Browns are the number 2 team. Period in the NFL. Like. Period. So I'm like, it's just up to them now. Like, they have literally every single thing in place to be that team. Can they do it? Mm-hmm. I think that they can. I think that they've matured enough, especially with the confidence of having multiple years to get to know each other. Right. Not a lot of turnover, the continuity, all of those things. Then having the really good season last year that wasn't a disappointment. Like, you guys didn't just barely miss the playoffs, and in the playoffs, you managed to win the playoff game.
Right.
Like, those are huge momentum things going into a new season with a now full training camp, and you did that without one the year before. I looked up and down the Browns roster, and I was just like, dude, this team is stacked. Yeah. And when people have to understand what guys like us mean by that, it's not like, oh, they have all the big name dudes. We hate super teams. It's not what we're talking about. That's not a stacked team. It's like, is this perfect scheme, like a scheme fit? Right. Like, every guy where they have him is perfect.
Right. And we have depth.
Yeah. Like when the Broncos in 2013 had that record-setting season, it wasn't like any of them dudes were shit. Eric Decker proved that. No one had heard of Eric Decker, before that season that wasn't a Broncos fan. And even at that, no one was writing home. He was our third place receiver.
Right.
Then he goes and puts up over 1,000 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns and gets a massive contract with the Jets, which he took.
Right.
And then went and never even got within 300 yards again of the 1,000-yard season because he wasn't good, but he was a beast scheme fit. When I look at the Browns roster up and down, it's like you guys have those players.
Right.
Where it's just like, apart from an Odell Beckham, you'll have them.
Yeah.
So I got the Browns number 2. I'm gonna stop gushing about the Browns because it's starting to make me nauseous. Who's that number 3?
Number 3, I said Buffalo Bills.
Bro, he stole my list. This dude took my notes.
I think it's just the AFC is just as difficult and as competitive as the AFC is. I think it's actually pretty cut and dry. I mean, if that makes sense.
The top
it's difficult, but you still know who's gonna who's gonna come out. The top
is the top.
Yeah,
it's just everybody else. It's I view the AFC, to make another cross reference for people. I mean, we talk all sports, not just football. It's like the Western Conference in the NBA, where it's like you still know, okay, the Lakers, the Clippers,
right?
They're gonna come out,
but it's gonna be a difficult road getting there.
Yeah, but it's also gonna be you're not really interested in the top heavy guys. It's more like, last year can Golden State get in at number 8? What are the Trailblazers gonna do? What about the Nuggets? And it's all those random. Can the Mavericks make some noise? I feel like the AFC is the same thing. Like the teams that are at the top are there and they're stacked. Yeah. And then it's like every other team, it's like there's so many of like the worst teams in the AFC are smacking teams in the NFC. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, I'm taking the Jets over the Giants in a game. Just because one of them rocking that AFC. And I'm like, we built different. Y'all understand the AFC was built with Tom Brady? If that's who you're going up against for 20 years, you build your teams different. Yeah, that's true. You're going up against Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Right. Like, dude, the number 1, number 2 GOATs. And that's your last 20 years. We built different in the AFC, bro.
Fun fact. Fun fact. And y'all can look this up if you want to. In the AFC, there are only 2 starting quarterbacks in the AFC that were not like top 15 picks.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Every quarterback, and even the 2, one being Lamar Jackson, you're still a first rounder.
Just beast, man. The AFC built up. So
you know who the other is?
Yeah.
Who?
No, I don't know.
Your guy. Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridge.
Yeah. It was early second round pick.
So you got the Bills at number 3. Why you got the Bills at number 3 like I do? Since I know what you're gonna say since you took my notes.
Josh Allen, I think he maintains his level of play. I don't think statistically he'll drop off, but he won't drop off, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like, he may not put up the same numbers, but he's still going to give you the same quality of play. I think experience last year, playing a lot of big games, helped them. Mm-hmm. Obviously, getting to the AFC Championship game helped them. They're just a solid team. You get solid production on offense, solid production on defense. We'll just see how they handle being the hunted instead of the hunter. Yeah, so that's pretty much Buffalo. Their division got a little bit tougher, but I think they can weather the storm.
This man is he looks like stealing my notes, people. So since I already know that you got my note, I have nothing. I concur.
I concur,
Dr. Holmes.
Catch me if you can.
Yeah.
Shout out to Leo.
That's exactly why I had the Bills. The same reasons. Like, they're just a very, very balanced team. That I think is week in and week out gonna do exactly what they're supposed to do. And as weird as that is to say, it's like I don't think that they're ever gonna overextend, and I don't think they'll ever overperform or underperform. Right. Like,
and this year they play against the AFC South, so I think they kind of they get some skate games.
They're
Jacksonville.
They're just gonna do what
Houston.
They need to do. Yeah, I see them easily finishing out. 13-4, 14-3.
Yeah, that's a good area for them.
Since I already know who your number 4 is, we can go ahead and shout them out.
Tennessee Titans.
Yep, it's them boys.
Yeah.
I know it. It's got to be. I mean, that's a got to be. I mean, it's clear cut. They're going to run that division.
Right,
and
it comes down to
nobody.
Even without the addition of Julio Jones, which was a good pickup for them. Again, it comes down to quarterback play. Like, they just have the most consistent quarterback play. I think Carson Wentz will
They're
show
like the
improvement.
only one that has a quarterback.
Yeah, I think Carson Wentz will show improvement in the system, but Tannehill's been in the system for now. What is this, year 4?
Well, Tyrod Taylor was just named the starting quarterback.
Right.
Like,
so just,
okay.
And then
for
when
the
you
Texans,
add Derrick Henry and Julio on top of that, I think they are going to have some defensive issues, which will hurt them going into the playoffs. But from a division standpoint, nobody in the division, it's theirs.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with that. For me, I actually think that there will be potentially a team or two in the wild card spots that might have a better record. This isn't going to affect anything, but might have a better record than the Titans, but would obviously be a wild card team. So yeah, obviously I had the Titans number 4. As we talked about in the power rankings, I'm getting Julio Jones. They didn't go backwards.
Right.
I just don't think it was like that big.
Yeah, I don't think it was
like, big enough.
Puts them in the Super Bowl contention.
Yeah, it doesn't change their roster enough or their dynamic enough to be like, oh yeah, you're knocking off the Chiefs. Like, no, you're not. you're still not doing it.
Right.
But again, I mean, who knows? Derrick Henry might, if there's like put him as a linebacker, maybe he gets like a pick, and then he can like stiff arm Patrick Mahomes on the return, and then boom, the Titans are in the Super Bowl.
We do get to see a fun matchup though. Speaking of Tennessee, they play the LA Rams this year.
Yeah.
So we get to see that Derrick Henry, Aaron Donald confrontation. We'll see if he can put one of them stiff arm. If he flings Aaron Donald, dude.
I'm done watching football. if he stiff arms Aaron Donald and like doesn't get tackled, like he doesn't even have to fling him. If he was like hits him with a solid one, like we're like, oh, that was a
right.
I might be like, yo, can we just cancel the rest of the game? As I said on the power rankings, put these two in a circle and just. I'll pay for view that all day. Like, I'll pay $100 for that right now before I watch any of these other fights.
All right, we're going into 5 seed wild card area.
All right. This is where we're gonna be different. This is where it's gonna start to we're gonna start to have the differences in opinions.
I think the first one is the same.
I had to switch it.
Who's your 5?
I've actually switched them multiple times.
Who's your 5?
My original 5, like, again, when I was thinking about this before the J.K. Dobbins thing, would have been the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
Because, again, it's like, I think that they're the second best team in the AFC North. I think that they easily fill that gap. But, again, with that huge hit to J.K. Dobbins being out, I still see them being a playoff team. They're still just too good, talent-wise, to not make the playoffs. But I do see them slipping more. Like I see them getting in around, whereas I would have projected them, which I did project them at the beginning of the season. Again, I think I had them at 13-4. I think that they've dropped now to they'll finish about 10-7.
Wow, that's like
I think that's how big of an impact J.K. Dobbins will have on him not being on the team.
Okay.
So my number 5 team that I have coming in is the Denver Broncos. Yes, I said it, people. Yes, I said it, people. Yes, I'm sticking to it. I have them in my power rankings as high as I did in my top 5. Yes, I have the Denver Broncos as the number 5 seed in the wild card.
All right.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying is all right.
Because again, I believe when I'm looking through it, it's like you have your division winners, right?
Right.
Chiefs are going to win the West.
Okay.
Titans going to win the South, et cetera, et cetera. Like we know the teams that are going to win, and you got to look at what's the next place team in each one of those divisions that could realistically take another spot. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you got to start with the AFC North and the Baltimore Ravens. Then you got to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers as like the first 2 viable teams that consistently make the playoffs or consistently make those runs. Ravens, especially recently.
Right.
So it's like, okay, those could be 2 spots, 2 of the 3. You go to AFC South. They're not sending a second team. The Jags, the Texans, maybe the Colts. And again, the Colts are going to have a lot of health. They already are having health issues and health concerns and having to make adjustments for that to where it's like maybe the Colts. So those are three teams right now, right? So then you go to the AFC East. Are they sending a second team? Probably not. I know some people want to be high on the Dolphins, and I'm just not. I just don't think that the Dolphins. I think that they're going to regress from a mediocre season. Like they won 11 games last year. I think they win 10, which is still not a bad season, but I don't think they make it in.
Okay.
So then you have to go AFC West. Are there viable teams coming out of there? Again, the Denver Broncos are going to be fielding a top 5 defense. What's projected? Whatever. That's with any team. But yeah, they're going to be fielding a top 5 defense. They're going to be fielding one of the best young wide receiving corps, which again we went over in the power rankings. We do not have the question anymore at quarterback with, who is it going to be? It's clear cut that it's Teddy Bridgewater. And they even came out more affirmatively over the last few days and said, like, he's going to be our quarterback for a number of weeks. Getting rid of that notion that it's like, oh, if he comes out week 1 is bad, they're going to switch it over to Drew Lock. It's like, no, we're sticking with Teddy Bridge. And that's what I told you in the power rankings. I'm like, if we get him as our starting quarterback from day 1, we'll make the playoffs because he's an exceptional game manager. With that defense, that wide receiving core, you saw it even in the preseason, we looked dangerous. And our defense in the preseason, for whatever it's worth, but it is worth something, that top to bottom, regardless, was the only defense in the entire NFL this preseason that didn't give up a single touchdown on offense. Not one. So I'm like, our defense isn't an if they're going to be top 5. That's basically our second string, third string, fourth string still shutting teams out while we put up 30 on the other side. The Broncos are going to be a problem. And again, when I'm looking through those teams, it's like, okay, so they have to battle with, the Ravens. Can they have a better record than the Ravens? Can they have a better record than the Steelers? I think the Steelers are going to have a really bad season, which I alluded to in the power rankings.
Right.
I'd be surprised if the Steelers won 10 games, but that's going to be the threshold.
Right.
You got to get to 10 games. What teams can I see getting to 10 games? Miami, barely.
Okay.
Steelers, barely. Ravens, definitely. But again, even at that, I'm like, they'll drop from 13 wins to probably 10, 11 wins.
Right.
The Broncos, again, have the easiest strength of schedule with that top 5 defense, with that young wide receiving core. It's not crazy. Again, and I went through the schedule with you for us to go 12-5. Even if we go 11-6, that puts us right in the playoff hunt. And those are the teams that we'll be battling against. It's very, very likely that the Broncos can easily slip in and be that second best team out of the AFC West. If you're that team, whether it's us, the Chargers were also kind of, I'm putting the Chargers borderline. But again, I can't. I want to say that I think the Chargers can get to 11 games. I think they finish at 9. I think they should finish at like 11 or 12 wins, but I think they're going to have like 3 like bad losses, like 3 really close games that would have otherwise put them there. But I do see the Broncos being the number 5 seed. And it's not a joke. It's not because I'm a fan. I'm saying that. I went over the power rankings. I'll post it all online. Y'all can ask me for more details. But what I'd like more is just tune in every week. I'm going to remind y'all every episode as we win games to keep watching the Broncos. You heard it here first. You've been hearing it. Watch. All right. Okay. You're number 5.
Yeah. It's definitely not. I got the Ravens.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the more logical and sensible one of the two.
I'm definitely the risk taker.
I think the J.K. Dobbins injury hurts Baltimore more in division and against higher ups. What I mean by that is teams that they've seen over the last few seasons. They played Kansas City 3 years in a row. They played Buffalo a few years in a row. So, but against fresh teams who not yet see Lamar Jackson and don't see him regularly, it's a cakewalk. So I think they'll actually we match, our division matches up with the AFC West. I think they'll skate through, minus losing to Kansas City. I think that
they losing.
You hope
they might lose a game to us early in the season.
You hope that. I'll say they walk through.
Baltimore plays Denver in Denver week 4, and now they having to do it without J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, but I think that's a bad game.
And we have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb that are going to be attacking.
Got your Broncos off.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep going.
I'm saying, y'all. I don't think y'all. You can't simulate what he does in practice. So I think that again, the injury is more affecting his team that seed him on a regular basis. Obviously, division opponents, your Titans, your Bills, your Chiefs. Other than that, nobody's gonna be prepared for that running game. Mm-hmm. It's you can throw KJ Hamler out there and practice all you want. That's nothing compared to seeing Lamar Jackson on the field. So I don't think the drop off will be as great as you think. I think they still win 12, 13 games easy.
That's why I'm so excited. I understand why I was smiling at the beginning of this. Like, I love it. I love I love it because now we get to make these predictions, which we're going to be doing every episode, and we're going to be able to recap every episode. Yeah. And I'm going to be able to sit here all season long and just watch as my team just crushes people.
Yeah, and just to make it to when the Ravens mashed them boys by 21, we don't have to review that game. Right now, we'll just keep that about the rest of the games.
I'm just going to do a little scoreboard. Probably I'm going to buy it before the season starts. I'm going to go out and get a little Broncos counter, put it right here. Just put the scoreboard. So we're going to keep winning.
You do that.
The Broncos might fuck around and go 17-0.
It's going to sit at 2 for like 10 weeks.
All right, so you got number 6 then, because my number 6 is the Ravens.
I got the New England Patriots.
Oh, my God. Are you out of your mind?
I am. But that's not why I have the New England Patriots.
So you're gonna say some shit to me about the Broncos, and you have the Patriots, who for the first time in Bill Belichick's career is starting a rookie.
You have the Denver Broncos as the 5th best team in football, first off.
Yeah, because they are.
They are not.
No, they are. On paper. On paper.
No, they're not.
On paper. They're
on
nice.
paper.
On paper.
On a chalkboard. On an Etch-a-Sketch. They're not the 5th best team in football.
You just got to get your LASIK.
But I digress. I got the New England Patriots. I think they'll sneak in. I think they'll finish second in the AFC East.
The Patriots ain't winning 4 games. The Patriots ain't gonna win 5 games, bro.
They'll edge out the
going 4-13.
They'll edge out the Dolphins. I think they'll edge out a lot of those other teams competing for the 6th and 7th spot. Colts, Chargers. Those are the only 2 really. Broncos aren't competing for anything. But who's your 6?
No, I told you it's the Ravens. I can't believe it. I can't believe you got the Patriots. It's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay. Because that's why I love this. That's why I love this time of season. Because this is when it gets good. Is that we can just do it's gonna be fun. My number 17 again. I was a bit conflicted on. I don't like either one of these teams. It's actually kind of a toss up between 3 teams.
Okay.
Because I literally think that they'll all finish with like basically the same record, like either 9 or 10 wins.
All right, who gets in?
God damn it. I might have to make a choice right now. God damn it.
Kind of do.
I got to go with the Steelers. It's between the Steelers, the Colts, and the Dolphins.
Okay.
And as we talked about, as much as I hated in the power rankings, because I think that the Steelers are, like, again, the 25th, best team in the league. I think that they're a garbage team. They have Mike Tomlin. And again, these are 3 teams I think will all finish with around the same record.
Right.
And just like we were talking about, if you need Mahomes to go and get you a game, if you need a coach to go and get you a game, I'm taking Mike Tomlin, number 1. Yeah. So I think late in the season, it'll be close. And I think that the Steelers sneak in as the 3rd team from the AFC North.
All right. Fair.
Who's your number 7? Who you got sneaking in that final spot?
I also have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There we go. Look at that.
Again, same thing. Yeah, he's never had a losing season in his entire career.
Yeah.
As much as I don't believe in their offensive line.
You're welcome, Brandon.
I think a lot of guys on this team are trying to prove something. Mm-hmm. Juju's obviously going for a big payday.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger's trying to prove that he's not done. Who you got? Devin Bush coming back. You lose Bud Dupree. You get T.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, and Pittsburgh is still just a tough place to play in general. So they'll go at least 5-3 at home.
Yeah, and they got an extra game this year,
right? So 6-3,
yeah, 6-3.
Right? It was 6-3 at home. I think they come out at least 2-2 against the AFC West. I don't know. I think they lose to the Chiefs, obviously, but
and to the Broncos.
I don't know who the second could come against. You guys going to Pittsburgh. That's a dub. If they were coming to Denver, honestly, I give you
It's a dub for the Broncos.
Going to Pittsburgh, that's a dub for Pittsburgh.
For the Broncos. Ben Roethlisberger has no offensive line. Going up against Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. He has no offensive line.
Hopefully.
This guy.
Hey, they got injury concerns. Can't say they don't.
Every team does.
Every team does.
Every team does. Every team.
But yeah, I got the Steelers sneaking in over the Dolphins. Dolphins. I think they'll edge them out by a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll edge out the Colts. I think the Colts towards the end of the season will just kind of tail off. They'll play tough throughout, but Carson Wentz will make some mistakes.
Yeah.
The West, they're just, aside from the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos will just beat up on each other. You guys will take each other out of playoff contention. And you just have the unfortunate year of going up against the AFC North. Last year was definitely the strongest division in football. You had 3 teams get into the playoffs. So it's like, do you really want to see that 3-headed monster coming at you? Like Baltimore, that's a good, you have to admit, that's a gauntlet.
The Broncos want it.
They don't want to smoke.
Broncos have the easiest strength of schedule.
Yeah. That's what people think.
It's about to be smacking people. Bro.
No. You don't want to see that gauntlet at the end of the year. The Browns, Steelers, Ravens, Chiefs. Dude,
we get them in the beginning. What you talking about?
That's a stretch.
We get them in the beginning. What do you mean? We literally play the Ravens and the Steelers.
You speak about it like it's
we
easy.
Play the Ravens and the Steelers.
Nobody in that division of division people who did not make the playoffs wants to see 4 playoff teams.
Check me out though. This is what I was saying before in the power rankings.
That's not easy.
Even if we have, because we do have.
I'm not talking about the Broncos. I'm talking about everybody.
I'm talking about the Broncos. You keep dragging the Broncos.
I'm dragging the entire division. You just focus on the Broncos.
This is what I'm saying. The AFC North. Right, even if we got to go through those things, which we do, we got to play. You know, we got to play the
go to Ravens, to Pittsburgh.
Let me finish, because we play Pittsburgh and we play the Ravens in 2 of our first 6 games of the season. The other teams that we play are garbage, which means, again, as I went over on the power rankings, we can easily, with those 2 losses, still come out 4-2. And then guess what? We don't play the Ravens again or the Steelers again. We have 1 more game against the Browns and 2 against the Chiefs. Cool, even if we lose all those, we're still at only 5 losses. And we can win every other game on our schedule because our schedule is easy if you take those teams out. Like, anyway. So what are you, because we just going to see. We're going to have to just see. So who are your two teams in the AFC to look out for like we did in the NFC?
I would say the Dolphins. That's a dangerous game. I'm not high on Tua Tagovailoa, but that defense, and let's just say you catch him on an on week, because they got a lot of speed outside. You have Devontae Parker, drafted Jalen Waddle. You got Will to throw, Will Fuller from the Houston Texans, who's a burner. So if Tua is on his game, I wouldn't want to see that team for one game. The other one is probably the Chargers. Because I really don't know what to make of them yet. A lot of people are high on them. Justin Herbert had a fantastic rookie year. Yeah. I get that. But he's got a new coach. He's in the new system. And their roster is just so, like, if they can stay healthy, a definite playoff team. But I can't trust it because everybody's always hurt. And you never know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. So, but on a 1-game basis, end of the year, and you're saying I got to win this game to get into the playoffs, I wouldn't want it to be against the Chargers. Give me the Houston Texans.
Right.
So those are my 2 teams.
For me, it's the same one I touched on in the power rankings. The team I think that'll be the most interesting or exciting to watch is going to be the New York Jets. Okay. I'm really excited to see what Zach Wilson can do in that offense. Right. I think that they'll be.
Said he'll be a top 5 QB in the next, or top 3 to 5 QB in the next few years.
I can see it. As I told you, I'm sold on this kid. Watching him in his college tape, watching him in preseason, watching his OTAs, his mini camp, I'm sold on this kid. I think he's going to be a really, really good player. So watch the Jets. Again, I don't think that they're going to be anywhere near the playoffs, but I think that they'll surprise people. I think that they'll pick up 5 or 6 wins. I actually had a projection for them, and I think that it's like if ideally everything went right in their season, I can see them finishing as well as 9-8.
Wow, the New York Jets.
That's what I'm saying. If and again, when you talk about different teams, as we do, obviously as we just did with these rankings, it's like I'm talking about like your best case scenario,
right?
Like the best case scenario for the Bucs, you go 19-0,
absolutely,
whatever. The Chiefs, same shit. I guess what will be 20-0 now? Yeah, 20-0 for the Bucs. The Chiefs will be 20-0. So you have those teams. It's like if everything went right for you, you'd go undefeated. Yeah. For other teams, it's like, no, if everything goes right for the Broncos, I think that we're the 5th best team in football.
Right.
That still doesn't put us anywhere else. I'm still like, we're still a wild card team. I'm not saying that I think we win the Super Bowl, but I'm like, if everything goes right for us, we are easily in the playoffs because we easily are the 5th best team if everything goes right. So with the Jets, if everything goes right with them, I can see them winning 9 games. I don't think that they'll get anywhere near that number. But I think that they'll be fun to watch because their defense is garbage, but their offense is going to be explosive. So it's going to be just a ton of shootouts.
Fair.
And then just to keep with, continuity, the team I would also watch for, but not a positive, the team to kind of watch because they're going to be rebuilding, is going to be the trash-ass New England Patriots. Because they're going to suck this year. They're going to be terrible. Like, they're going to be bad.
But do you want to see them on a certain side?
I want to see the Patriots this season as a Broncos fan every Sunday because they're that bad. We would go undefeated. Like, I want people to watch the Patriots because I want, for the same reason as the Saints. The Saints are having to do it this year with rebuilding. It's the first year without Drew Brees.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they transition with that. I'm shocked they went with Jameis Winston, but whatever. So that's, now we're seeing their rebuild kind of get going. Last year with the Patriots, they tried the Cam Newton experiments post Tom Brady. Now this is them admitting to me, this is Bill Belichick admitting that for the first time in 20-something years, he's like, we're in rebuild. You're starting for the first time in his career as a head coach, a rookie. Something that he is like vehemently against. He makes these motherfuckers wear 50 at practice. Just as no, you're not, you ain't shit. You're a backup quarterback. Like, you're a rookie. And now he's having to start one for the first time with an already, again, abysmal offensive line, a bad defense.
Ain't as bad as you think.
They were, oh my God. Again,
they were.
I went over, and they didn't get better, and especially they didn't get better if that already bad team is having to resort to a rookie quarterback. So I want people to watch the Patriots because you might think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think that they win 4 games. I would be shocked if I would not be surprised if they went defeated, if they went 0-17. I would be shocked if they won more than 4 games.
They got 4 wins in the division.
I'd be shocked if they won more than 4 games, as I just said. So that's
we got the bet. They'll finish better than the Broncos.
So for both of those are my 2 teams to watch, both on positive and a negative side from each division. Now, real quick, before we wrap this episode up, I want to hear your playoff predictions. You can either go just who you think wins throughout each series, or you could just pick, this is who I think will be, in the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl, AFC Championship, NFC Championship, and in the Super Bowl. I'll let you roll with how you want to do it.
I'm just going to get straight to the gusto. I think the AFC Championship game is going to be a rematch between the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
I think we split during the regular season, and obviously we come to a head in the playoffs. In the NFC, I think it's going to be the Green Bay Packers and the LA Rams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, playing for the NFC Championship. And in the Super Bowl, I actually see Green Bay versus Cleveland.
Green Bay versus Cleveland.
In the Super Bowl.
I don't want to know who you think wins yet. We'll leave a little suspense for that, but that's your bold prediction before the season starts. You're picking Green Bay
and Cleveland.
In
LA.
In the Super Bowl.
And I'm there, by the way.
In the Super Bowl. Wow.
I am there.
Okay. I'm a bit different. I'm gonna make a couple bold predictions. I'm not gonna jump just straight to the meat because there's one matchup that I want to talk about.
Okay.
There's actually a couple, but I'll just keep it brief. I think I'll jump to that. I think that the divisional round, so not the wild card round, but the divisional round, I think it'll be the Chiefs and the Broncos, and the Browns and the Titans going on today. It's a championship game. Okay. I believe the championship game will be the Browns and the Chiefs.
Okay.
I see the Browns winning the game because I also think, it'll hurt them. This is where I think that the end of the season will be interesting. And this is where, again, I think that the Broncos could get an easy win from the Chiefs depending on what's wrapped up. Right. If the Chiefs have the number 1 seed wrapped up, I still think the Browns get through to the Super Bowl, but I think it's like a last minute thing. Like it'll be like a 3-point game. Okay. If it's in Cleveland, I think that if Cleveland gets home field throughout, I think that Cleveland will win that game by double digits. So I have Cleveland either way into the Super Bowl. Can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but yes, I have Cleveland Browns into the Super Bowl. And on the other side, I got Tom Terrific. I see it being similar. I want to see, everybody wants to see the matchup we want to see our whole careers. And that's Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers in a game that matters. And we're going to get it. It's going to be an NFC Championship game.
It's going to be a rematch.
Yeah, I think, my bad. I think that Tom Brady moves on and the Buccaneers go and play the Browns in the Super Bowl. I don't have any other bold picks as far as anything else in the rest of the playoffs. I think the playoffs will be straightforward. I think the Packers and Bucks will just run through. The only one that I think would be close is I think there'll be a good Rams game in there. But again, they'll be on the road as opposed to at home. So I think that'll bode well for the other team, especially if it's Green Bay or if it's Tampa Bay. So yeah, I got the Bucks and the Browns in the Super Bowl. Yeah. In an alternate universe, the only other one I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna wait to say this until we're at the halfway point. So week 8. If everything's going according to plan in my head, by week 8, I'll make a bold change that I think it'll be the Packers and the Broncos. But that won't be until week 8. That's my alternate. That's my alternate team. The only other way I see it is it's either going to be Bucks Browns or Packers Broncos.
Okay, so basically you're saying that show isn't going to happen because the Broncos will be out of playoff contention by week 8.
We'll see. That's the whole point. All right. So obviously we got Thursday Night Football coming up. Who do you got? What's the Bucks and the Cowboys? It's the banner night. Who you picking?
I'm going with the Bucks.
You got a scoreline for us?
I'm going to say 38-17.
Damn.
38-17. For the Cowboys, their defense was atrocious last year.
Yeah.
It was a big reason for their downfall. I think they fall behind early, say 14-17 nothing. And, of course, that's when Dak will start to put on that show that same way he did last year. But Tampa's defense just snap out of it, and they'll finish an easy banner night victory. I think the Cowboys defense will show improvement over the course of the season, but you will not see that improvement Thursday night.
Okay. I had it at, basically the same thing. I had it at 41-7, or 41-20. And the way I got there in my head was a little different. I figured that the Bucks will kick 2 field goals, and the Cowboys will miss an extra point. So I got a 41-20. Same thing, ass whooping. Tom Brady's not going to let nothing spoil his banner night. Especially not to the Cowboys. So that'll be Thursday Night Football. But then,
Dak's coming in with, granted, he was around for training camp. He didn't take a preseason snap. He was very limited because he's coming off the foot, and then he had the shoulder. So it's like, this is really Dak's first game action in a year.
You excited, man? You
excited for football?
This is our last episode before the season starts. You excited? Because I'm hyped. I'm hyped right now.
I'm not excited because I get to watch this miserable blowout on Thursday. Yeah, but it is real football.
Yeah, it's real football that counts. And we in it, man. It's the last one before it's full blown into the season. Yeah, it's like Christmas for me, people.
Yeah, Friday's episode, we're going to more detail about the week 1 matchups.
Yes, sir.
And we talk about the Browns. Actually, I think that's the game of the week, and that's not even because I'm a Cleveland fan. It literally, because of what happened in the playoffs and because of how good the two teams are, that has to be the game of the week. I don't know how that was not the opening Monday night game of the season or Sunday night game. But, NFL schedules think different, so.
Yeah. I'm so excited, man. And, we're going to be able to get on here and talk about these Broncos and the rest of these teams. So look forward to that. Again, we appreciate y'all tuning into the number 4 episode of the Next Man Up Sports Podcast. It's the last one, as we said. It's the last one before the season starts. After this, we going. It's going to be just weekly predictions, recaps, letting you know how to go with your fantasy teams, etc. And it's going to be fun. I'm so excited. I'm so excited you guys are here with us for this journey. I'm looking forward to it. Again, we'll be having another episode dropping on Friday that will be recapping everything that happened in Thursday Night Football along with our week 1 predictions.
Absolutely.
If you guys liked today's episode, if you like the other 3 episodes, they're all up and live. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. They're available to you wherever you get your podcasts. Please let us know if there's anything that you guys want us to cover, any content that you like. We love to hear from you. And again, this has been episode number 4. We're so excited we're here. We can't thank y'all enough for the support you've already showed, and we look forward to seeing y'all next time. My name is Shaka. It's my man, Bobby G. And let's get him out of here. Peace.